Hey guys, welcome to episode 67 of Relentless Talk Radio. Today's fearless food for thought topic is the art of leading with your heart. I always choose my topic based upon who the rock stars are that I'm going to interview in today's episode. And I'm interviewing Kim Lannon, who is a sports psychologist. Kim and I have known each other since we were 9 and 5. We were gymnasts together growing up, and she's become a sports psychologist. I'm super excited to talk with her. And then Grant Vetter, who I actually have been playing phone tag and event tag with for a long time, and actually haven't had a chance to have a really meaningful conversation with him. This is our first time meeting, and you guys are going to get a chance to watch it live on Relentless Talk Radio. So the topic is the art of leading with your heart. Of course, I always take notes lately because my ability to just impromptu talk off the top of my head is gone away. So let me just put Kim on mute. All right. So the art of leading with your heart. I don't know any other way to lead, quite frankly. I really don't. I really think that the only way to lead is from your heart. And, I was thinking about this topic kind of pre-interview, and the idea of leading with your heart, there's 3 things you want to know. Okay. And I also thought of some of the books that I've read that have really brought this point home. So I don't know if you've read The Art, Pour Your Heart Into It. It's the story of how Starbucks got started. And I just loved reading that book because the entire formation of Starbucks wasn't just created off the love of coffee, which would make sense, right? We love coffee, right? But it was about the love of his dad that really inspired him. His dad, Howard Schultz's dad, was out of work for a period of time. He didn't have health insurance, and he had some situations with his health that caused him to have some troubled times. And so Howard Schultz wanted to create a company that put the employee first. And that's why health insurance is so important to Howard Schultz and Starbucks. And I just thought that was one of the big things that I took away from that book, was that, to have an idea that's based upon, having a situation where someone you love is hurt, and you make a decision to create something that keeps other people from having that experience. So the whole formation of Starbucks was, yes, I'm sure, was capitalistic, and there was a money dream involved, but also the way that company was built complete from the heart. Another person who I recently had a podcast with is Cody Bateman, the founder and owner of Send Out Cards. So Cody is just an amazing human being. And he had an experience. If you don't know what Send Out Cards is, it's a relationship marketing tool where you send cards to friends and family or business associates right from your laptop or your phone. And basically, Cody had a situation where he said goodbye to a family member and then never saw them again. And so he started to create this company that would send heartfelt cards when you had a prompting to send something heartfelt. It's a really good idea for business owners to use to build your business, but it's a really great idea as I use Send Out Cards for all my party invitations and those kinds of things. But the entire company was built on the fact that Cody had a prompt to help people to love each other better. I don't know if you guys use Marco Polo. Marco Polo is a really great app. It's free. And they actually ask you if you'd like to contribute to keep the company going. You have the opportunity to contribute, but it's not required to use Marco Polo. So that's pretty amazing, that there's an app that's out there for free. And the whole purpose of the app is to help families to link together and to get to know each other better. If you haven't got Marco Polo in these COVID times, it's a really great way to leave messages for your family all day long. I'm really grateful that I left Marco Polo on my mom's phone before I left on. Another book that I haven't read actually, but I just love the title. It's called Lead With Your Heart, and it was written by the president of Avis Budget Group. And of course, I didn't write his name down. That's terrible. It's not my bad. But one of the things that he said was that business is personal. It's very personal. And my dad just died, and at his wake, I looked out at the people that came to the wake, and half the room was somebody that we had done business with. So I agree with the president of Avis Budget I really do. I believe that business is very personal. It's extremely personal because what you do with each other and the purchasing choice you make is all about putting food on people's tables. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Okay. And during COVID, I think we're more aware of that than ever because there's a lot of small businesses that aren't going to make it through this. They're just not going to make it because a month and a half off of earning revenue is just going to put them so far behind the 8 ball, they're not going to make it through. So this idea of leading with your heart, why do I keep on doing Relentless Talk Radio? Honestly, I don't make any money off of Relentless Talk Radio right now. I know there's going to be sponsorship dollars that are actually monetized down the road. I know that my YouTube channel is going to grow and that I'll get advertising from YouTube. I know that eventually I'm going to get sponsorships on podcasts. But the first thing I have to do is build it. And the reason why I keep on doing it is because I want to have the conversations with other philanthropists, other entrepreneurs, other artists, and other athletes and health professionals about the topics that I talk about, because that's kind of like my gift back, and it's a relationship tool for me. And it's about sending a message that, it's about sending a hopeful message out there more than anything. It really is about leading with my heart. Relentless Talk Radio is all about my heart. So I started to think about what are the 3 things that you need to lead with your heart. Well, the first thing is that you have to know yourself. Like, I just know, unless some really amazing corporation came along that just, it just blew my socks off. I just know that I'm a self-motivated entrepreneur. It's just the way I've been wired, and it's the way my career is laid out. So I know that I'm all heart, and I have to take the risk. There's no other choice for me. It's not even like a choice. It's just the way it is. I know myself well enough to know that I'm not just. I am a team player, but I'm such a leader that I want to be an entrepreneur, and I know that about myself. The other thing I know is that the second thing you need to know is you have to understand what your values are, and you have to align your values with your mission. So this year, when people started to ask me, "Hey, Michelle, what is it that you do?" I didn't say, "Hey, I'm a radio talk show host," or "I'm a business consultant and coach," or "I have a company called Choose Healthy Change, which has a goal of ending financial and physical suffering." I didn't get into all that. What I do is I lift and encourage others so that they can discover what their best is. That's what I do. And I do that in a variety of ways. So I started to lead with my why, I think, about 6 months ago. And it really has changed what I focus on when I'm leading with my why. I really am about lifting up and encouraging others so they can discover their best. That's everything I do is focused through that vision and my values, which is to lead with my heart. I mean, that's 100% to lead with my heart. And then the third thing is to be very intentional. So if you sat down with me and I went through my business plan with you and I showed you how all my pieces fit together and what I'm doing for all those pieces, you'd know that everything I do has a very specific intention and it has a very specific population to serve. Some of it's monetized, some of it's not. Some of it is about gifting, some of it is showing up as myself. But everything I do is very intentional. Even the personal posts that I put on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn are very intentional. And the intention is to be the example of what it looks like to lead with your heart. I mean, this topic is so timely for me right now. And I think that having time out with COVID has only made me realize more that my biggest asset is my heart. And I think that if you're really truly a good leader, that is your biggest asset. You educate yourself and you go to school. We're talking with 2 PhDs today that are doing very specific things to lead in their industries. You definitely feed yourself with good information. You surround yourself with good people, but ultimately it's an inside job. And that's part of knowing yourself. I know for me that everything I do is associated to what's going on inside of me and how well I've educated myself and personal development and what I'm doing to take better care of myself so I can take better care of others. So if you're, I don't know, I've been looking at stuff online lately, and there's a landlord in Brooklyn that just let 500 tenants off the hook for their rent right now. That's so awesome. I really think that this situation is awful. It's terrible that we're all shut down. But I also think that people that are leading with their heart are really shining during this time. And then if we all take a moment out and just do a little introspection and self-development, we're going to come out of this on the other side far stronger than we could have ever imagined. Now, I've been re-looking at all of my services and offerings and thinking to myself, okay, how am I going to tweak this or change this? I don't really think that what I'm doing is changing, but I am shifting my focus a little bit. And I'll be, kind of posting about some of the changes in my focus that really aren't changes. They're just kind of shifts, right? So I've been pivoting with purpose. And I think that if you have a business and you started out with COVID with some intentions or some ideas, you are, just by the nature of being home, revisiting some of those, and also revisiting, hey, what do I really want my life to look like? I don't know about you, but many of my friends are thinking, you know what, this slowdown has been a really good time because I've been running like with a chicken, like a chicken with my head cut off for a really long time. And I think that having to slow down and not be running around and not to be overdoing every second, and to be running to this social thing and that social thing, it gives you a second to realize, you know what, I don't really want to run that hard. I think I want to slow down a little bit. Yesterday I was working and there was a young girl playing with her mother outside my window. And, we've been here since April and I hadn't heard any children playing in our complex. And this little girl was playing hard. She was laughing from her pinky toes, and her mom was laughing and she was laughing. And I thought, God, I haven't heard that since I was in my salon, and my office was in the back of the building and there was a schoolyard up above me. And in the afternoons, I loved when I had work sessions because I could hear all the kids playing on the playground. And I just thought, we are going to have some real shifts in how we look at things. I think that kids are not going to be able to go back to only seeing their parents for a half an hour when this is over. I don't think that parents are going to want to go back to that either. So I'm really looking at those three things that I'm talking about, which is knowing myself better, surrounding myself with people who have a commitment to self-development and knowledge. And then number two is to align my values with my mission even more intentionally. Okay, so this three is to be very intentional. So I have known what my values and my mission are very solidly for a long time. This year I've really drilled down a little closer to be focusing on my why. And now I'm getting even more intentional about the actions that I'm taking. And I think that a lot of the business owners that I know are doing the same thing. They're taking stock, they're taking inventory, and I think some people are going to come out of this and say, you know what, I don't want to do what I was doing anymore. I want to totally shift. I'm going to totally change. I'm going to take advantage of, some unemployment, and I'm going to do some self-development, and I'm going to figure out what the next step is for me, and I might get a job. Or the people that are in jobs that got laid off might say, hey, listen, I don't like having to have all my eggs in one basket. I think I'm going to go be a network marketer. I'm going to go start a business. I'm going to start a business and do network marketing. I'm going to become a podpreneur. I think my way of doing business all of a sudden has gotten a little more reasonable, based upon the fact that we have a lot of people sitting at home right now wondering what's next. So in short, to lead with your heart, you're going to do three things. You're going to get to know yourself better. Number two, you're going to align your vision and your values. And number three, you're going to get very intentional about what it is that you're doing in your business, in your home, in your life, and for yourself. I think that this is giving us all an opportunity to pause and relook at what we were doing and decide if that's really what we want to do going forward. So I'm going to go get my friend Kim Lannon. She's a PhD psychologist. She is in the back room right now waiting for me. And I'm also going to share a little here that Grant has. He says, it's really true that we may be closer with friends and family on the other side of this. I'm going to show you his comment. I absolutely believe that to be true, Grant, that 100%, I think that Doc and I have gotten more solid. I think, if you want to know if you're in the right relationship, go on vacation or have a pandemic. We've had just a great time being with each other, right? I mean, we really have totally enjoyed the time out. I hate to tell you guys, we're fixing our motorcycles, we're having dinners out in the patio, I'm setting the table, I'm putting flowers out there. It's been awesome. So if you're not doing that kind of stuff for your partner, I really suggest that you do. So I'm going to run and get Kim Lannon, and I hope you'll come back in a couple of minutes for segment number 2, which is the health and fitness segment. I'm talking with Dr. Kim Lannon, which is kind of cool to say. It's super cool to say. So I'll be right back.